Hello, welcome to Meet the Author. I'm your anchor, Dr. Jacque Eaves. The purpose of Meet the Author is to showcase authors and their literary creations. Our special guest today is April K. Shepard. April is an internationally recognized publishing pioneer and CEO of Priceless Purpose Publishing. Her children's books have been listed in multiple markets to include Australia, Canada, London, and the Netherlands, and many local retailers such as Barnes& Noble and Walmart. In addition, her books are available on Amazon and have ranked as Amazon new releases. I am so proud of your success, April. Welcome to Meet the Author. Please share with our audience a little bit more about the inspiration behind your books.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. My books were actually inspired by a couple of things. So, my daughter experienced some bullying scenarios of her own, and I went looking for books that were about bullying and self esteem because I felt like, at her age, she's 9 now. It'll probably be easier for me to explain these things to her and teach her how to still feel empowered and feel great about herself if I'm able to show her that in the storyline. And what I recognized was that there weren't many characters in those stories that looked like her. And kids tend to learn better and easier through seeing themselves reflected in stories that can show their hardships and show them other things or other characters going through what it is that they're going through. And I wanted to make sure that my daughter had that for herself, but also other kids who are going through these same scenarios who may not always see themselves reflected in the stories. So for I Am Phenomenal Because I Am Me, that was the inspiration behind that one. For How Come We Can't Go to School, that was a similar situation where, my daughter had a pretty hard time transitioning from going to school daily to going to school in full-time distance learning status, right? So she's actually the second author on that book. She's a 9-year-old published author because we worked together on that project. And it was something where we had a lot of hard conversations. How come we can't go to school? How come we have to do our work on computers? Like, what's happening? I miss my friends. I miss my teachers. So these were conversations that were way easier for me to navigate once I gave it a storyline for me to explain to her, like, hey, it might get a little tough sometimes, but we can all get through this together. So that was the inspiration behind both of my first two books. These books are actually important to my target audience because they do help you to facilitate those conversations. Sometimes kids go through things and they get into really dark places and they just don't even know what to call what they're feeling. So, in a lot of ways, I want my books to be used as that resource that can help parents and therapists and counselors and schools to really facilitate those hard conversations with children in an age appropriate way so that it's not just something that we avoid talking about. Because what tends to happen is that we as parents and teachers sometimes we may look at things like, it's just too much to talk about, it's too hard for them to understand, but we can find ways that helps them understand the type of things that's going on in their life and in the world so that they can be ready for it and that they can cope with it. Because the reality is, avoiding it isn't going to change the fact that they're going to experience it. They're living this life with us, they're experiencing this pandemic with us, they're going to go through bullying in their life. It happens to all children. So, with that being the case, it's something where I definitely know that these books can be a resource to facilitate and to start some of those harder conversations in an age appropriate way.
April, I believe your message is certainly timely as the topics are relevant to many of the challenges facing our children and youth. As a parent, I know firsthand the long-term impacts of bullying. And however, unfortunately, we do not know the long-term impacts of the pandemic on the mental health and lives of our children. So thank you for this very timely resource as a way of, as parents, for us to connect and to have these difficult conversations with our children. Thank you so much for your message as well as your platform. Please share with our viewers what's next for you.
What's next for me? Actually, I'm in the middle of planning my third project, Uniquely You. I'm actually starting my campaign regarding keeping kids safe from suicide, SAFE being an acronym for stopping adolescents from feeling expendable. And I've also launched my online training academy for aspiring children's book authors. So it's called Premier Publishing Powerhouse Program. And in that academy, I'm actually teaching aspiring authors to transition from aspiring to publish without the guesswork and headache of navigating the publishing process alone, because it can be a daunting task if you don't have the right resources and you don't have the right guidance. So I just want to be that answer to so many aspiring authors who have these stories in their minds and in their hearts that they've had for years and just don't know where to start to even get it done. For more information about that, you can reach me at publishingpioneer.com. Again, that's publishingpioneer.com. And I definitely look forward to serving you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me today.
Thank you so much again, April, for being with us today. And again, my heart goes out to you for your vision and your passion for reaching our children and youth with resources so that we as parents may bridge the gap and have these difficult conversations. To learn more about Meet the Author, I am available at www.drjackieeves.com.